Alright my loves, I'm Maddie and today I'm going to give you a breakdown of how I used all of this stuff to do a live Ableton performance of my track Dirty Word. What I'm using, over here we've got Novation SL Mark III, microphone Shure SM7b, vocal effects we've got TC Helicon Voicelive Touch 2, I'm controlling things using an Ableton Push, and then obviously over here is my sound card and my computer. This song, Dirty Word, I didn't actually write this way, so what I've done is kind of adapt it to be able to perform it live. On my Novation keyboard here, I've got the different instruments assigned to different sections of the keyboard so that I wouldn't have to keep changing things up. I can just play down here and know that I'm going to get drums, I can play there, know I'm going to get bass, piano, weird little pizzicato thing, big synth. The way that I did that is the drum rack, I've got each of my different drum samples assigned to different notes down here. So I've got my kick drum assigned to the C down there, I've got a couple of different snare things going on, I've also got some vocal samples, I've got some other vocal samples, some percussion, this sort of thing. So I've just MIDI mapped each of those samples to each of the different keys down in this octave down here. The bass, I've got an instrument rack because I've got a bass sample from the actual original track and I've layered it with an Ableton bass as well. And you can see in the key menu that I've just put the range for the bass just at these notes, so that's just this little range here. So if I play there, I know it's going to make the bass sound, but nothing else. I've done the same thing. We'll go to piano next, because the piano is my next octave, yeah? That's just an Ableton grand piano. I've got some, you can see I've got some delay, which I've just changed, oops. And a compressor after the delay, I know, right? EQ, reverb, all that kind of stuff. And then I've got my pizzicatos next, just assigned to this area. And then, right at the top, these are samples from my original track as well. So I've actually got a different sample for each different key. Up here it's not one sample transposed or anything. So those are basically my instruments. Obviously I've got my vocal on the go as well. This, I'm using the TC Helicon for the vocal effects. On my TC Helicon I've got a couple of different settings according to whether I'm doing the chorus or the verse, and then there's another little effect that I chuck on in the bridge section as well. For the chorus, which is the first bit of the song, I've got a bit of reverb, a bit of doubling. Don't you get? For the verses I bring in some lovely delay. Dressing up in all my fine. And in the bridge, I started playing around with this rhythm. I'm not a dirty word, a dirty word. So that's the basic instruments that we've got. Drums, bass, piano, pizzicato things, weird big synthy riff, vocals. I'm using the push to control recording the loops as I go along. So I'm in session view here in Ableton. Each of these little blocks here is a little loop that I've recorded in. Now you can actually do some of this on the Novation as well. I prefer to do it using the both of these together just because I can use one hand over here, one hand over here, find it a little bit easier. Also the push allows you to do fixed length looping, which you can't seem to do otherwise, I don't know why. So you can see these are lit up different colours here at the moment because they've got clips in from when I recorded it a minute ago. But if I take them away, there we go, these are red now for recording. Now I start the song without any looping just by playing some of these weird vocal effects here. So that's what we've got going on at the beginning. And then, just make sure my metronome's on. To start off, I hit these three together because that's my drums, my bass and my high riff up here. I've got it set to loop round at a fixed length of 4 bars. So if I do this, it's going to give me a count in. So that is my first little section, that's my main chorus loop. What I did then, if I just delete these guys as well, before I did anything else was I duplicate that kick drum pattern down into the verse just so I don't have to play it again. Got a duplicate feature here, bang. So that's ready for when I go to the verse now. And then once I've done that, I bring in this little guy. So this is the loop that I had. Hit the record button to add that in. And then I would sing over the top of that. The reason I added that in later is because I wanted to duplicate that kick down before adding that into it, because that vocal sample is kind of part of my drum kit down here. After I've sung that initial chorus, obviously hit my vocal effects on, and then I will hit these 4 pads together because I want to go to this sort of section. This is my verse section. I'm not actually going to play anything on this sort of synth riff here, but I'm just hitting that in order to stop it playing the other thing that I've already done. It's going to cancel it out. So we have that going. When I'm hitting any of these buttons, at the moment I've got a bar's worth. I've got to hit it within the final bar of the previous section because my global quantize up here is set to 1 bar. So if I hit any of these buttons to change something within the final bar of the previous section, it's just going to go to the next bit exactly when I want it to. I'm actually going to change the global quantize later though for a weird bit near the end. So that is our verse. After I've sung that, I go back into a chorus, and all I need to do is just hit this button here. This button on the push is the equivalent of this launching scene 1 on Ableton here. So I can just go back to my chorus and sing it again. And again, when I want to go back to my verse, I can just hit that. Sometimes with a little bit of chime tree for the transition. So then when I'm hitting verse 2, partway through it, I'll launch it like this. But I'm going to add some pizzicato in a second. So I just bring that in halfway through the second verse just to lift it up a little bit. Now also during one of the verses or choruses earlier where I'm only singing, I'm not having to think too much about this, I again do a sneaky little duplicate of the drums down, like that, so that when it comes to my bridge I don't need to do that. I go to the bridge out of a verse, so I'm going to hit all of these pads together. I'm not actually going to be doing anything with these 3 instruments here again, I'm just using them as like a dummy clip to stop those parts playing. Let's just get that playing a minute. And we're going to go on the pitch wheel on the bass. Still recording, just adding random stuff in layers. Got that going around, nice loop. This is when I head over here and hit Command 0 to change my global quantize to nothing. So basically when I launch stuff now, it's going to do it exactly when I hit the key, which is important in a minute. I'm going to select my Airpusher here. I've got Ascend, got the drums and the bass, going to Ascend of Airpusher. Show me Airpusher, which is a cool little effect from Ableton. You're going to hear what it does now. So for my bridge, I just bring it in and out because it's cool. And then finally, I'm going to go back into a chorus at the end. Now, the reason I changed the global quantize is because of the way that the song is written. This was a weird thing to try and work out, but in order to, I cut out like half a bar, I think it is. Can't even remember. In order to get the beat to drop exactly where I want it, I need to have no global quantize on. So I'll show you what's going on there now. So this is what it does normally. Just a normal length. But when I'm doing my final chorus, I want to do this. So changing global quantize to 0 allows me to do that. And then at the end of the song, the very end, I use my dummy clips here in like, what is it, scene 4? Just so I can just do that. If I've got that playing, this is going to stop it all. Like that. And that's how I can stop it and just have like a nice vocal delay rhythm fade out at the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, hope you found it useful in some way. I'll put a link up to the video of me actually performing this track. There's also a really good music video to this track, directed by my friend Pinar Earn. I will put that up as well. If you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. I kind of judge what kind of stuff I'm going to make next depending on what people seem to be enjoying. If you subscribe to the channel, there'll be more stuff like this, more performance videos, more like looking at gear, talking to other musicians, all that sort of thing. If you hit the little bell, you actually get notified when new videos go up, if that's something that you fancy. Let me know in the comments if you are an Ableton user, if you do a little bit of this or you would like to do more of it, if you've got any tips or you want to ask anything. I'm sure somebody is going to be able to let you know, even if it's not me. And I will see you next time.